Okay, here's a hypothetical. Let's say that you wanted to play an older fighting game. I don't mean old like 2009 or 2015 or 2020. I mean old. 90s old. Before I was born old. You wanted to go back to an arcade classic. How would you do that? Well, you have quite a couple of options nowadays. If it was an extremely popular game, there is a non-zero chance that it is still available in some form. Let's say you wanted to play Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 3. Capcom has literally made collections of games back from around that time that you can play. Mortal Kombat is going to have a collection eventually, and I'm sure at some point Tekken will follow suit. Maybe we'll get Tekken 3 online at some point and everything will be right with the world. Some games are still playable as they were. If you wanted to play an old Melee Blood game, you can just buy it or use the community edition. But what if you wanted to play something like, I don't know, The Art of Fighting 3, Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon? What if you're really just itching for a round of Adventures in Galactic Storm? Well, you are less in luck. There are hundreds of old fighting games that do not have current collections that you can play. While the big boys get to thrive on and get resold endlessly, the smaller, niche, lesser-known games tend to fade into obscurity over time. And it seems like there will never be a way to play most of them officially ever again. But what if that wasn't the case? Well, let's talk about the best thing to happen to retro fighting games. AKA, let's talk about Fightcade. With EVO happening now-ish, I want to take a moment to shout out and thank the Fightcade developers for preserving the history of fighting games as well as they have. If you are unfamiliar with Fightcade and its much more successful sequel, To Fight to Cade, it is a service that lets you emulate a bunch of older fighting games with a shit ton of neat features. Mainly rollback netcode through a modified version of GGPO. The amount of games that are on the service is eye-watering, with over 700 plus fighters ranging all the way from the NES straight up to the Dreamcast. There are a bunch of different amazing games on here. Maybe even some of your favorites. You could play shit like Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, a bunch of the old KOF games, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Heritage of the Future. All of these games are available with rollback. And all you need is the software, the ability to set your controls, and a legally obtained ROM of the game. I am not legally allowed to tell you how to get these ROMs. I am only allowed to say that you should get an arcade board and strip the ROM from it, and it may work. If that sounds like a hassle to you, might I remind you that the internet is an amazing place, and search engines are really cool. Cough. With so many different fighting games on the service, it can be a little bit overwhelming if it's your first time looking at it. And I wanted to take today to shout out a bunch of the older games that I really like to play. Just look at the little history of fighting games and the things that Fightcade has to offer. With collections coming out more and more, it can feel like Fightcade gets pushed to the side, so I'm going to bring it into the limelight without warning and without proper permission, just to shout out a couple of things you can do on it. So let's go through some, shall we? Mark of the Wolves is the predecessor to the currently available City of the Wolves, and while I'm not really into the modern SNK direction, I do really like Garo. I'm not amazing at it, in fact, I'm pretty bad, but the art style and sound design are fucking amazing in this game. Any SNK veteran will obviously know it, but you have a light punch and a heavy punch, as well as a light kick and a heavy kick. You have a system where if your HP reaches a certain threshold, you unlock a special move on the characters, as well as a 2-bar super that lets you do really cool shit. I love Garo, it's absolutely amazing, its style just oozes charisma, and there is a reason I was very excited for City of the Wolves before things happened. Do you know that Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't able to make it to EVO this year? He wanted to go, but he wasn't. If you want to find out more, Google Cristiano Ronaldo Las Vegas. Guys, whatever you do not look up the game that Kaski came from. I know he's an Undernight character, but he came from a very different game. It's said that if you look at it at 2 a.m., you see something so scary it will make you shit your pants. Kaski Blitzcamp is a simplified 2D fighter that is really easy to play. While it doesn't have modern inputs or anything like that, it does have Gatling-like sequences that let you go from lighter to heavy attacks, as well as simplified motion inputs being only quarter circles and down, similar to how Dragon Ball FighterZ does it. Despite this, it is still a grounded footsies-based game for the most part, and rewards you for hitting big counter hits and making big plays. And while the character that I play is very easy and normal, you can definitely find some bullshit if you're willing to look for it. I love Kaski Blitzcamp. It's super simple, super easy to play, and super fucking fun. I was gonna make a video on it a while ago, and then I dropped it because I didn't like it, but maybe I'll go back to it. Let me know down below. Okay, listen, I was supposed to, at some point, play Windjammers 2, and I never got to it, but I have played quite a bit of the original Windjammers, and let me tell you, this shit's fire. Windjammers is where we kind of start to stray away from what is a real fighting game, with it being a ultimate frisbee competition. Basically, imagine if Pong had motion inputs, and you're pretty much there. You play as one of 6 characters, and your goal is to try and get your frisbee into the opponent's goal. The different goals are worth different amounts of points, being either 5 or 3. There are modifiers on the stage that, if you hit them, change the trajectory of your frisbee, and you have like special moves that you can do when you grab the frisbee, so you can start charging up underneath it and then do a special shot to make it harder for the opponent to deal with. It is super fun and super simple to pick up. I absolutely love putting people on Windjammers. It takes them a little bit to figure it out, but there's literally only 2 buttons and directional movements, so you can kind of figure out how to send shit. It's really cool and really fun. Okay, so now is probably the time to do the big reveal. Fightcade supports way more than just fighting games. All of the games that I've mentioned have a ranked leaderboard, which is the way that I found basically all of them, including Puzzle Bobble, which I fucking love, by the way. I had this game when I was a kid, and it was fucking amazing. I would play it for literally hours at a time. I would spend days doing nothing but playing Puzzle Bobble, and it's sick. It's awesome. And there's a bunch of other types of games like this with ranked for some reason. The rank can be a little bit hard to get into. Basically, if your name isn't Street Fighter, King of Fighters, or JoJo, finding an average ranked match in the lobby is going to be a little bit difficult, but they're still there. In fact, there's around 7,000 games on this goddamn platform. Again, you'd have to find the ROMs, but once you do find them, there is so much that you can do on this platform. It is actually amazing. I love Fightcade. I always try to go back to it every couple of weeks. Sometimes it takes me a little bit more because I'm busy. But going and just seeing the games that they have on display, finding old classics that I used to love when I was younger, and new gems that I've never played before is absolutely amazing. If you're a fan of older fighting games, or just older games in general, there is a good chance that it is on Fightcade for you to play with rollback netcode. So please, go give it a shot. If you're wondering what to play because you're burnt out on things from fighting games right now, or you're not really feeling any of the current stuff, go check out Fightcade. I promise you will not be disappointed. Thank you all for watching. Speaking of EVO, I'll be streaming most of the event over on Twitch, so you can go there. We're starting tomorrow pretty late, but Saturday and Sunday we're basically going to be watching from start to finish of the event. It is going to be a time. I'll tell you that much. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye! As always, a very special thanks to 64 MHz, Akechi Crow, Almost Naptime, Angel OS, Axel Oil Syndicate, Bochy the Rock, Daniel Wiederit, Edison Luttrell, EJ Satel, I'm not sure how to pronounce that one, I'm sorry, Pexo, Games.png, have fun pronouncing, oh no, your name's too long, Hoffmeister Bear, I'm Neota, it's Riley, Critty Cat, Beige Paladin, MP04, NB Coffee Bean 26, Ray W, Sergeant Cubby, Slimy Gal 42, Super, Forcon, and Velvet Puppy for being Tier 2 patron supporters.